Hey guys, this is Melissa again with Porterhouse Rules, and I had started a live video earlier, and I actually had to cut out a few minutes into it because my husband was calling me. It's about time for him to be getting off of work, and he actually, I'm about in shock. He just called with really, really, really good news. So I'm really excited about that. Been stressing about a lot of things lately, and that's going to alleviate a bit of that stress. So as much as I'm out here walking because I've been in a bad mood and I've just been in this funk today, that really, really, really helped. Helped with that. I'm glad I went ahead and took that call. Like I said, I'm kind of in shock. I've mentioned it kind of randomly through a few of my past posts, but we have made the decision this year to remove all 4 of our kids from traditional public schools, and we are going to be schooling them at home. And it's not necessarily traditional homeschooling either. What we're going to be doing is what is Connections Academy. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that before, but you can look it up. It's pretty awesome online public school, and we're really excited about that. And one of the things that we're about to be doing is the 3 children that are living with us this school year are needing computers. So we're getting ready to buy 3 new computers for them to do their online schooling. The way that Connections Academy is different than regular homeschooling is I'm not actually going to be teaching them necessarily. They are going to have their advisors and teachers online through the school instead of me actually sitting down and doing a lesson plan and teaching them all. That wouldn't really be conducive to what we have, because we have children in different grades that aren't even close together. Coda is actually going to be a sophomore this year, and Isaiah is going to be a freshman. Jeremiah is 7th grade, and Abby is going to 4th grade. So they're pretty spread out, and it wouldn't really make sense for me to try to homeschool them in the, general sense of the homeschooling thing. So we're going to be doing online schooling. Our kids tend to, as I get distracted by some other sound, I'm going to say this. Our kids tend to get distracted easily in class and in school. And in the area that we live in, the public schools are not the greatest. Interestingly enough, I just got an email across my screen from the school saying that we have a reminder for enrollment. And I have already withdrawn the kids from the school. So I'm not sure why they're sending me a reminder, because they don't quite have their stuff together. But the school that they went to before that sent me reminders for a year and a half after they stopped going to the school of school closures and event reminders and all of that stuff. They email me regularly. Instead of when you withdraw your kid, they stop sending you reminders because your kid no longer goes to that school. So the schools around here really just don't seem to have their stuff together. They seem very overwhelmed and underfunded. I think that there are some really, really amazing teachers out there that try their hardest I really do. But the traditional public schooling system is failing our youth on a colossal level. It's, to me, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm just going off on a rant here. To me, it's putting our kids in a box on a conveyor belt and telling them that they're just like everybody else and you need to do things like everybody else. And when you hear the bell ring, you move to the next class like everybody else. You eat at the same time as everybody else. You don't have unique hair colors because that could be a distraction to another child. You don't wear certain clothing because that could be a distraction to another child. And what does any of that have to do with learning and actually teaching children the way that they individually need to learn? Because all of my 4 children learn differently. You know, one of them may learn really easily just by reading the books and absorbing the information that they're reading. Another one could read the book for 8 hours straight and not be able to tell me anything about it because they were so focused on just zoning out in their head while they were reading. And every child learns differently. And the institutionalized public school system teaches all children the same. In fact, literally the words, Common Core, is teaching them all the same. Everybody learns the same, and they don't. And it goes back to that thing a speech I heard on Facebook about the standardized tests, which I have all kinds of feelings about. But the standardized tests, it's like judging a fish by its ability to climb and judging a monkey by its ability to swim when they're completely different. And they have different skill sets and different learning abilities. Why do we judge them all exactly the same? And I have posted to my personal Facebook a few things about the similarities between the current traditional public school system and the prison system in America. It's incredibly similar. Very, very similar. And in the inner city schools, especially where the kids have to wear uniforms, I mean, how is it at all different than the prison system? It's really not. They're told when to go, where to go, when to go there, what they have to wear. Everybody has to be the same. You can't be out of line. You can't speak out of turn. You can't ask questions when you want to. Everybody eats the same thing at the same time. And like I said, when it comes to uniforms even, that's even more similar to the prison system. And, some of these schools run so late, and when your child runs or rides on the school bus to and from the public school system, that's like sometimes an hour in the morning and an hour after school that they're riding on a bus. So, we've been where we literally have to get up and have our child on the bus at 6:30 in the morning, and they don't get home until 4:30 in the afternoon. And then they're sent home with homework, which takes them, between an hour and 2 hours maybe to do. So that leaves them very little time to actually live life between that before they need to eat supper and take a shower and go to bed and wake up the next day and do it all over again. and it's sad and it's depressing. And when your child is doing that, and then you're being told that they're still not learning the material that they're supposed to be learning to be a successful, productive member of society, you start wondering, what's the point? Why are we doing it? So we as parents have decided to stop doing that. We want our children to actually have lives. Some people, one of the big questions that we've had thrown at us, because not everybody agrees with homeschooling or online schooling, one of the things that people like to throw at us is, what about socialization? Really? First off, your child is supposed to be in school to learn, and when their socialization skills come from solely being in school, that's where their socialization skills come from. They're not learning how to actually be individuals or to have individual ideas or to be leaders. What they're learning is to be followers. One of the first things you learn in kindergarten is how to follow in line. You get in line, you line up at the beginning of the day, you line up at the end of the day, you line up for lunch, you line up for recess, you line up after recess. You get in line and you're a follower. And the only exception to that is when you get to be the line leader. You know, once a month or twice a month or whenever that is. And they love it when they get to be line leaders. But they're only getting to be line leaders because they're told that it's their turn to be a line leader. They're in line to take turns to be a line leader. So I really don't think that we can raise leaders and individual creative thinkers with that kind of mindset. I've gotten so many emails on pizza. It's killing me. I'm walking here, pizza people. But I really don't think that when you put your kids in a uniform and they're gone for 8, 9, 10 hours a day at school, they're in line all the time. The bells are even the same as the prison system. In prison, at rec time, there's a bell to tell you when you get to leave your room. There's a bell telling you when to return to your room. You stand in line, you wait. It's all the same. And I personally, it's not for everybody, but I personally don't want my children to be followers. I don't want them to stand in line and to wait their turn to be the line leader. I want them to be encouraged to have individual ideas and creative thoughts and to do things in a manner that makes them happy. You know, if they had a rough night and they were up all night and you wake them up at 6:30 in the morning to get on the bus to go to school, they're not going to have a good day. And one of the amazing things when it comes to this, the online schooling that we're going to be doing, is they're not going to be strapped to that time system. They're actually going to be able to, I'm not going to say sleep in, because they're not going to be sleeping in all day every day. We're not trying to raise lazy people. But, you know, everybody has rough nights. Everybody has those nights where they toss and turn, can't get to sleep, nights that they don't feel good. And on those days, they can sleep a little bit longer and then get to their lessons when they're able to and they're in a good mindset to do it. So, yeah, there's kind of my little spiel on what we're doing with the kids this year. And yes, I agree with what Josh had just said. Their socializing is going to come in the form of actually socializing in the real world. They're going to be able to go to the grocery store and socialize with other human beings in an actual setting instead of sitting in a room with 30 other kids being told don't talk. Because I'm not quite sure how that's socializing. We're going to be doing a lot of field trips. You know, Connections Academy is amazing, and that they actually set up field trips with other Connections Academy students. And they will be meeting up at museums and art exhibits and, you know, festivals and the zoo and the library and all of those sort of things. And like I said, you know, even the basic things like going to the grocery store and learning how to grocery shop. Because how many people honestly like got as far as high school, and when you got out on your own for the first time, when you get out of high school and you get out on your own, you're like, wow, I get to buy whatever I want at the grocery store. And you buy crap. You buy crap because you don't quite understand the value of money. And so it's going to be teaching them on a daily basis, regularly, you know, how we spend money, why we spend it that way, how to budget. I didn't even get to the point of, I mentioned standing in line for lunch, but what they actually feed the children in the schools. When I was taking my college classes, I actually wrote a paper on it because it's disgusting. Everybody is boasting about, you know, what is it supposed to be, 30 minutes a day of activity or an hour a day or something like that. Which, again, the school system it's not really conducive to your child even being able to do that. But on top of that, they tell them all about the food pyramid or the food triangle or the food, whatever they're calling it nowadays, because I know it's not what they taught us in school because it changes all the time, trying to figure out what the human body actually needs. But what they feed them is not that. What they feed them is very closely related to what they feed prisoners. And the difference is they're charging us for it. There are few schools, which I think it's almost every school now does free breakfast because they want the kids to have a good start, which is awesome. I was really excited about this until I realized what they're feeding them for breakfast. Okay, when you get your child up and then they get ready and they half asleep, get on the bus at 6:30 in the morning, they ride 30 minutes to an hour to school, and then they shuffle in line and wait their turn to get their big, fat, sugary, fatty cinnamon roll and chocolate milk that is more comprised of milk or sugar than actual milk or chocolate of any kind. And then after you pump them full of all of these disgusting carbohydrates and processed sugars, after that they need to go sit in class. Sit still, sit quietly, and listen to the lesson plan. We are setting our children up for failure. And then when they can't actually sit still in class, we need to take them to the doctor to get them medication so that they sit still instead of thinking about what you've already put into their body, which is processed refined sugar, starch, carbohydrates. Heaven forbid you actually give them some kind of fresh fruit or vegetable. And what they say is, well, they have the option. They have the option between the cinnamon roll and, you know, a bowl of mixed fruit. But tell me, any of you that have children, especially around the elementary school age, give them the choice between a healthy bowl of fruit, which isn't even a healthy bowl of fruit, because what that is it's canned fruit that's canned and corn syrup and sugar. But let's pretend like that's the healthier option. You give them the option between that and some, 2% milk, or they can have chocolate milk and a cinnamon roll covered in icing. What's your child going to pick? Yeah, so it's just setting the kids up for failure and then medicating them after they fail, for them to sit still. And then when they can't sit still, or when they actually sit still to listen to the lesson plan, they're so zombified on the medication that you've given them that's counteracting the sugar that you gave them, that they're still not learning what they need to learn. So, again, this is turned out to be more of a rant about the public school system than an actual walk with me kind of thing. But like I said, I think one of the most ridiculous things was people saying that they need to go to public school to socialize. When I actually, personally, myself, I failed 6th grade. And I'm a very intelligent person. It's not because I didn't know the work. It's not that I didn't understand the concepts of what I was being taught. It's because I was busy passing notes to my friends. It was because I was too busy socializing, ironically enough. And one or more of our children has specifically, we've been told that they're very intelligent. They understand work, but they are not doing the work, and they're not even always listening to the lesson plan to learn sometimes because they're so busy socializing. They're worried about what their friend's doing, talking about video games and all of that. And so, again, the idea that we're trying to accomplish here with our children in doing this is that they are going to have learning time for learning when it's conducive to them personally, when they're actually able to sit down and learn, when they're well rested, they've had healthy food, a well-balanced diet, for the most part. I mean, we're not total tyrants, but they have a decently balanced diet and they're well rested and they're ready to sit down and learn without all of the outside distractions. And then what happens is they actually get through the work faster. There's also lots of times in traditional public school where you're given an hour to do a task, a certain, packet of worksheets, and you get yours done in 30 minutes, but the rest of the class, that block is still scheduled for that worksheet time, so then you have 30 minutes where you're doing absolutely nothing. You're not learning, you're not socializing because everybody else is, still everybody quiet and to themselves doing what they're supposed to be doing, so then you just sit there. That's wasted time. So, they're going to be learning when it's best timing for them. And when they have the tools that they need to actually absorb what they're supposed to be learning. Because like I said, Dakota, he's going to be a sophomore this year. So I can't tell me that I haven't tried the public school system. And I have tried the public school system from Texas to Missouri to other states, and it's not working. As far as over as Arkansas, we've had children in the public school system in Arkansas, and it's not working. I think that the public school system is broken. I think that something needs to happen to help the children, but I can't fix it for everybody. So what we're doing is we're trying to do what is in the best interest of our children and doing their schooling at the house this year. So yeah, really excited about that. Just about finished with the process. One of the cool things is Isaiah is actually going to be taking German this year. I think Jeremiah, possibly, I'm not 100%, but I think that he's going to be taking Chinese. And even as far down as Abby, who's going into 4th grade, she will, if she is grasping the concepts that she needs to grasp in her regular core classes, they have elective options as well, like foreign languages, Spanish, German, Chinese. I can't remember what all of them are, but even as early as 4th grade, they're giving them elective options so they can add classes if they want to. A lot of people that do Connections Academy graduate early because you can do it at your own pace. And if your pace is faster, which I think is a lot of the case when it comes to Isaiah, is his brain works at a very fast pace. And when he's not able to work at that pace, it kind of shuts down. And so I'm really happy about that. Really happy about the schooling this year. Really happy about the good news that I got from my husband. I'm actually starting to feel better after I've been walking for a while. What I keep looking at here, I actually have 2 phones on me. You know what that means. It means that I have 2 phones on me. But it won't let me turn around yet, Will. What I'm looking at here is my pedometer, which says that I've had 3,815 steps and I'm at 1.62 miles. So it's not quite where I wanted to be yet for the day. I was going for 3 miles, but it's also like, I don't know, 7,000 degrees outside right now. I really want to go fishing right now. I've had some rough housing issues this year, which have me stressed out, or have had me stressed out. But part of that does stem back to the schooling, We look at certain houses and we're like, well, we don't want to live in that house, even though it may be more in our budget and more conducive to our lifestyle and the size that we need, the rooms that we need, and all of that, because the school system the kids would be going to if we lived in that particular house aren't up to par. But we are no longer shackled by that. So that's a good thing. We do have some other personal housing issues that are on their way to working themselves out. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because it's kind of making me crazy. Yeah, see, Ben, I just started thinking about Dakota leaving this weekend, and that makes me sad all over again. But I'm also really excited because Isaiah and Jeremiah are going to be coming home this weekend. Kind of a trade-off kind of thing we got going there. But they're going to be coming home this weekend, and I haven't seen them for most of the summer, so I'm really excited to have them back home. Everybody will be seeing more of them. I think they've only been on camera a couple of times. I started my channel, I started uploading videos on May 24th. And I think my first video was actually like National Last Day of School, the corn dog video, where I had Isaiah and Jeremiah with me. And I'm not sure if they've actually been in any of my videos since then. So you guys are actually going to be seeing more of them. This is really exciting. They're awesome children. I don't just say that because I produced them, but they are awesome, highly intelligent individuals. And that's what they are going to continue to be, as individuals. I'm really way too excited about the schooling thing. Got kind of a one-track mind on that. And usually Misha Renee has jumped on my live feed by now, and she has not. And I'm guessing it's because she's taking a nap. She kind of does her own thing and gets to nap when she needs a nap a lot of the time. I have trouble napping in the middle of the day. So I walk. We're going to be doing another zoo trip. We have zoo passes for August. So when the other two get back, we're actually going to be taking another trip to the zoo pretty soon. Which I'm really excited because that Stingray Bay at the Kansas City Zoo is amazing. Like, it's knee high on me, so even like little bitty toddlers can reach it to put their hands in there and touch the stingrays. And they have very specific rules on what to do. You know, when you first go in, they have it roped off where you have to go and wash your arms up to your elbows, your hands and your arms up to your elbows, and then use the 2-finger to touch the back of the stingrays as they swim by. But some of the stingrays, they get pretty wily, and they will like flap their, I don't know what it's called, their side fin thingy on the wall and splash water, which is pretty neat to see. And then during certain times, you can pay $1 extra to feed them fish during certain times of the day. I don't know what times those are or how they dictate that, but we happen to be there during one of those times. So I'm going to put a link, I think it's going to be up there, to that Stingray Bay video, because that was really awesome. And the kids were really excited. They also have sharks in the Stingray Bay shark touch tank thing at the Kansas City Zoo. But the sharks, as much as like I was kind of excited thinking that we were going to be able to pet the sharks, and I understand they're not huge sharks. We're not talking about Jaws here. These are like 1 or 2 foot little sharks. And the sharks actually don't swim around as much. They kind of hide towards the middle. And the touch tank is not actually a tank. It's pretty much a pool that takes up most of the room. So the rays actually swim kind of in a circle going around because they like being touched and interacting with people. But the sharks just kind of like chill in one spot over towards the middle. So they're not really bothered as much. But all of the animals do kind of what they want. I mean, if the rays wanted to go towards the middle and not be messed with, they absolutely have the option to do that. They can just move over in that direction away from people. But for some reason, they actually enjoy swimming around and getting petted and touched and all of that. I'm getting tired, and I'm not even at 2 miles yet. 1.95. This heat. I'm going from like shade to shade, just walking back and forth up and down my street right now. But it's not any cooler in the shade because there is no breeze. You can see the trees not moving because there is no breeze. There's no wind here. Don't like it. I wish I was out at the water, fishing on a boat, the breeze. Not even on a boat, it doesn't have to be. Like, I could just be at the river, at the edge of the river, sitting there with my peeps, or even without my peeps. I'll go it alone, backpack it out there, and sit and fish with the breeze. I'd probably end up falling asleep, getting sunburned. But it's better than this. No breeze. Ookiness. Ookie, is ookie a word? Gotta look that one up. I tend to just make up words as I go along. But where I live, it's actually downhill. Or I guess it's uphill both ways away from my house, because I live like at the bottom of the U-shaped road thing. Downhill. But it's still in the sun. There's shade. Also irritated at the mail right now. I have like 8 or 9 packages that I've been waiting on. I don't think it's actually the mail. I think it's the people that are sending it. But I have some packages that I've been waiting on to do some unboxings for you guys that I've been really excited about. But it is taking longer in the shipping, handling. I think it's the handling and processing that's taking longer than they led on it would take to be. Not cool. So I'm pretty sure with this last block that I just walked, I've got to be at 2 miles. 2.07. Woohoo! Yeah. I kept walking as if I had turned it around already. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video and head back inside so I can start prepping for dinner, which is not gonna be pizza. You pizza people that keep sending me emails and discount coupon codes trying to sabotage me. It's not happening, buddy. Not gonna happen. But thank you everybody for watching. And of course, it's probably going to be on a replay because not a whole lot of people have actually popped on here to watch live. But if you have watched it all the way through, or even if you fast forwarded to the end, don't forget to subscribe down there and give us a thumbs up so we know that you liked our video. And I will see you guys again next time, and bye.